If you've been following the Ashlee Jenae story lately, you already know it is an absolute nightmare. And every single time something new comes up, we are talking about a beautiful, young black influencer who went on a luxury trip to Zanzibar, Tanzania to celebrate her birthday and engagement with her multi-millionaire fiancé, Joe McCann. Sounds like a dream, right? But it ends with her dead in a hotel room under the shadiest circumstances you could ever imagine. Well, allegedly, Ashlee's mom is still shocked that the case was closed by Tanzanian authorities because she apparently knows that Joe paid his way out.
Told me that Ashlee did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, what happened when? And he told me it had been 11 hours prior.
And guess what? We even have insiders saying that just like y'all suspected from the very beginning, Joe is good friends with the owner of the resort. And that is why this situation went away as quickly and seamlessly as possible. Also, is it possible that Joe is threatening the family? I've noticed that the family's original raw interviews are completely vanishing from the web. Like, if you try to go find the primary clips where Ashlee's parents first spoke out and laid down the facts, they are scrubbed. Only reshares and reaction commentaries are left floating around online. So, were they forced to delete everything just to protect themselves from a legal war they can't afford? Well, it doesn't matter anyway, because word on the street is that the family is tired, and they are willing to spill everything. Okay guys, have you noticed how the media coverage of this case has shifted? First, it was a tragic mystery. Then suddenly, after Joe went back to the US, major celebrity news sites started dropping articles that feel very protective of the fiancé. They started publishing things like, Joe McCann cleared by Tanzanian police, and sources close to Joe say he tried to save her. Ashlee was having major mental distress, and whatnot. It's just all pretty much in Joe's favor. Well, based on what sources close to the family are saying, Joe is doing some serious cleanup, and the theory here is that McCann's team is actively buying up narrative space. Basically, when you have that kind of money, you don't just hire criminal defense lawyers. You hire reputation managers whose work is to flood the search engines with articles making the fiancé look innocent so that when you Google his name, you don't see the word suspect. In addition, Joe has also been posting about childhood traumas, basically suggesting that if Ashlee was having mental distress, like the Tanzanian authorities said, it's because of her upbringing and not him. However, guys, even if she did have mental distress from her childhood, Joe is clearly gaslighting because something must have pushed Ashlee off the edge when they were on that trip. I mean, the police specifically confirmed that they argued to the extent where they had to be separated in different rooms. And let's not forget that a source from Zanzibar revealed that Joe and Ashlee were arguing because he was cheating on her and he would leave the villa to go and be with other local women in Zanzibar. Allegedly, there was even another argument at the reception because somebody was flirting with Ashlee and Joe got offended and Ashlee started screaming about him cheating on her. So, even if Ashlee did have childhood trauma, that doesn't erase that something nasty happened in Zanzibar. And if word on the street is anything to go by, Joe paid big money to have the case closed. People are speculating that in a country like Tanzania, where money speaks loud, a multi-millionaire could easily pull some strings. And the locals are saying that cash allegedly exchanged hands with local authorities or hotel staff to ensure a quick exit before a real, deep investigation could even start. Plus, it also doesn't help that Ashlee's mom said she asked Joe when the incident happened and where it happened, and he told her that something had occurred 11 hours prior to when he was reaching out to her. Then she said communication stopped because Joe ghosted them, and the next update came from the hotel, which informed them their daughter had died. To a lot of people it still feels like from the way Joe was acting, it's giving he was trying to hide something, or buy time to pay off people. And by the way, we also have people who still believe that Ashlee was Joe's insurance, and this is why. Joe runs a big crypto fund called Asymmetric, but apparently the fund crashed, and we're talking about an 80% loss in 2025. That is millions and millions of dollars just gone. See, the fund was built to profit off big market swings, but as the crypto market stabilized in 2025, the strategy stopped working and the fund bled out. Actually, high-profile investors were furious and publicly stated they would never invest in such funds again after their portfolios shrank by nearly 80% under Joe's management. Now, almost immediately after the fund crashed, Joe announced a new plan to raise $1.1 $1.5 billion for a company called Accelerate. So if he was struggling to fund his new $1.5 billion project or owed money to powerful people after the 80% loss, a massive life insurance payout would be a quick way to get liquid cash. And the assumption is that Joe's plan was to take out a policy on Ashlee, propose in a high-visibility way to prove the relationship was perfect, and then have a tragedy occur in a foreign country with different legal standards. People are even saying that the only reason why he was supposedly held in Zanzibar for weeks, even though they insisted he is innocent, is because they needed time for the checks to clear. And he was happy to pay big cash because he knew that once the case is closed, he could also cash out from the alleged policy. But that's not all, guys. Allegedly, the other reason why Joe was able to get away with it is because he is friends with the owner of the resort, like some of y'all suggested. In fact, to a lot of people, this would explain why the case was closed and the authorities never released any footage from the day of the incident or the time Ashlee and Joe were at Zuri Hotel. Think about it. There has been no security footage that has been provided to show if anyone went in and out of Ashlee's room. No footage to show that they were actually separated into different rooms. And nothing to show what happened along the corridors. Nothing. They were happy to reveal that Ashlee's ChatGPT search and messages showed mental distress, but not the footage of what happened? How convenient. To be honest, in a luxury resort like Zuri Zanzibar, where villas can cost upwards of $1,000 a night, you would expect top-tier security. And I get that luxury resorts in places like this often design their layouts to feel like a secluded paradise. Yes, the resort is made up of individual bungalows and villas, and to maintain guest privacy, cameras are almost never placed inside the rooms or even directly facing the private entrances of the villas. However, even if there aren't cameras in the rooms, there should be footage of the pathways, and there should be footage of who approached the room, right? I mean, even Ashlee's father, Harry Robinson, has been very vocal about this CCTV footage issue, saying, "There's cameras everywhere at a resort. Just do the investigation and let us know." The fact that the family was asking for a review of the video for weeks suggests that the footage was never shown to them. In fact, up until now, there has never been any footage that has been released. And now, according to what's being said, Joe's personal friend and owner of the resort made sure of this. Also, don't you guys find it odd that the owner never said a word about what happened on his property? No acknowledgement, no apology, no statement, literally nothing. Somebody, a foreigner, died on his property under mysterious circumstances, and he said nothing? Well, the allegation is that they are actually good friends. Apparently, this is also why a lot of information was being withheld from the public for days, and no internal media platform dared to provide coverage because it was forbidden. Some controlled reports were only released after the incident got traction from international news sources, and there were still a lot of inconsistencies. You want to know why? Money possibly exchanged hands, and this is exactly what Ashlee's mom is supposedly trying to say. Yolanda has made it crystal clear from day one. The official narrative being pushed by the local authorities just doesn't line up with who her daughter was. Because of that, she still firmly believes that money exchanged hands behind closed doors to buy someone's freedom and sweep Ashlee's story under the rug. And even though it looks like their interviews are being systematically wiped off the internet, Ashlee's mom isn't staying quiet. Rumor has it she is completely unfazed by the legal pressure, and she is getting ready to bypass the mainstream media entirely and leak all the raw information, the receipts, and the true timeline directly to the public herself, because she has allegedly been given information on how Joe paid for his freedom. Basically, no matter how much money is allegedly being thrown around to suppress her voice, a mother's drive for justice is louder than any cease and desist, and she won't back down. I still believe there's something we are not being told, considering the authorities refuse to release any CCTV footage. But you let me know what you think about this case being closed in the comments section below.